This is an Ellis Mowers and Mower small engine repair. Stay connected on Instagram and Facebook at Ellis Mowers and More. Comments or questions? Leave them below or email me, ellis@ellismowers.com. Parts used in today's repair are found using the links in the description below. And as always, like and subscribe for more small engine content. On today's small engine repair, we're going to start and hopefully finish. We'll find out this Cub Cadet, International Cub Cadet 70. Thanks to Dr. Falcon, Dr. Falcon, on commenting on my trade video. We figured out that this is somewhere between 1963 1965 era, so we're looking at the mid 60s. Really good patina. It's not rusted out by any means. Just a little bit of patina from age. We're going to keep it like this. We're not going to do a full-on restoration on it. I do have the mower deck. All of the pulleys and spindles are free on the mower deck. It just seems like it's a little bit hard to turn. But first what we've got to do is get this thing running. It's got the Kohler horizontal engine in it, shaft drive to a big rear end, 4-speed rear end, I believe. And it will run on starting fluid, but will not stay running. So we've either got water in the bowl or a clogged carburetor that's preventing this thing from staying running. So I've also been told it may have a drive issue as well. We'll find out in due time after we get it running. The goal on this is to get it running, driving, and cutting. And if I can do that, I think I'll make a decent amount of money on what I've got into this. I had the Craftsman guard tractor listed for $800. I got $400 plus this. I figured that even if I sold it as is, I'd get $400 for this thing. So we can only go up from here. Let's go ahead and get started. I'll give you a walk around. I'm going to throw a battery in it, and we're going to see if we can get this thing to fire, number one, again. And then number two, we're going to dive into the carburetor, see if we can get it to run good again. And then we'll figure out the driving and the mowing issues. Let's do it. Alright guys, so it did not have any gas in it. I highly doubt that that's the only issue that it had. But I do know that it's a fuel related issue. The guy actually went, and in this box here are some points. He took this thing to the dealer and had things serviced. Actually, there are points in here. There's something else in that other box I'm not even sure of. But I have all the deck brackets and all that stuff to put the mower deck back on. So I'm just going to give that thing a quick spray. And who knows, maybe it was just getting low on gas. So let's see if it'll start for us. On gas. I doubt that this is going to go anywhere, but we'll see. No way it was that easy. I promise I have not. I just saw that the machine was out of gas, and so I put some gas in it. Now the issue is, I don't know if I can hop on here and show it to y'all, but it's the clutch per se isn't bad. What's going on is it is, and I may just need to pull this off, is I was riding the clutch a little bit, and then when it came fully unhinged here, it ended up stopping. So what I'm gonna do, oh, I got a ton of stuff in the way right now, but let's see. So will it just kick back over? It will. That's amazing. It has plenty of oil in it because I checked. But okay, so we'll hop on it. I'll put it in first and then let go. You can kind of see that it quits moving when you let off of it too much. And when you let off of it, it stops moving. You push it to stop. And I could make this work. So like I said, when you pull it back too far. But then let's see, if we go to 2, so it's actually at 3 speed. I made a mistake. There we go. I don't know if I'm riding the clutch right there or what, but there's just a very fine sweet spot that it'll go in. And as soon as I pull up right there, it quits. So I don't know if there's some sort of linkage or if this is exactly how you're supposed to drive it. I might actually look and see. But then let's see, 3rd gear. Woo! So we got something going on transmission wise. Reverse. So reverse works. Something's going on. It's not the transmission, it's something in the linkage between it. I may have not gotten it fully into 3rd. Let me see. Let's see, back into 1st. Well, we can get it to drive in 1st and 2nd, which is good. So we're getting somewhere here. But as soon as you let off of it, I think I can smell the clutch too, so smell something going on here. Really cool though. Let's see if we can get it to make it back to the... Yeah, there's something going on because it's literally just a sweet spot that you got to get it in. Once I get that sorted, then we just got to figure out the situation with the deck. I didn't think it would just start up with gas. That's kind of crazy. So it starts and drives. We just got to sort out the problem with the why it's doing what it's doing. Because like I said, when I let off of it, I have to apply a little bit of clutch pressure in order to keep it running. So hope y'all enjoyed that ride. Hope y'all enjoyed that ride. That is really, really cool though. Really cool. And I'm just going to get out there and look at the linkages and stuff and see what it is next. Alright, so I have found the issue. All I did, I just had to take a couple of bolts to get this clutch cover off. And if I can lock the park brake down, I'll show you exactly what's going on. So I tried to adjust things a little bit. It didn't work because I then found that the actual clutch spring right here has broken off in two here, and so it's not giving us the amount of tension that it needs to engage the clutch. So the clutch will be coming off of this. Never done a clutch before, so y'all are going to enjoy this. I did take off this mechanism for the deck just so that I could get better access. What I might do, since I know that I've got to put a clutch spring on it, and I think I can access all of that from the bottom or from the top here. Either way, what I might do is just throw this mower deck on because I have all the parts and pieces for it. It is a little bit hard for it to turn. The belt is a little cracked on it. But I'm really interested to see if this mower deck will work. And if it does, then if all we got to do is put a clutch in this thing and probably a gasket here for the top of the carburetor, bowl gasket, then we're going to be in great shape. So, like I said, I just have to research how to do one of these clutch jobs because I've never done one before. Luckily, this looks like it has been taken care of, so that's a huge plus in order to get this thing to work. And so I'm going to do some research and get some parts in here, and hopefully we'll have this fixed. But what I'm going to do next, like I said, put this mower deck back on. It's just a few, so these, I've got it reversed now, but it goes in like this. There's a rod that attaches to the front here, two of these clips on the side, and then that slides up into the deck height adjuster about where that middle of the camera is. And that should be it for the mounts on the deck for the frame, and then we'll put the deck mounts on. I'll put the belt on as well, and so this belt, the PTO appears to be working. From what I can tell, it just disengages and engages with this, and it'll pull it out and push it in, and it's working. Like I said, seems like it's working okay. The mule drive, the pulleys are a little rusty, but I'd be really interested to see if this mower deck turns, so I'm going to take care of that next. Alright guys, at this point I'm just going to pause because some of y'all are probably watching me do the diagnosis here, and y'all are probably yelling at me, it's not the clutch. Well, I figured that out. I wanted to show y'all what it is for the, not the PTO clutch, but the drive clutch. So just wanted to, did some research on forums and also some YouTube comments as well. I believe Dr. Falcon, Dr. Falcon also told me about the little coupler here to where it's not driving properly, and that's exactly what it was, and I'm going to show you all that next. So we basically fixed the drive for $0. We have fixed the running issue for $0, which brings into the fact of fixing the PTO clutch. I priced some stuff out for that, and if I just need that friction plate and a couple of them springs, which I priced out, is around $60. So we're getting a lot more realistic into getting this thing running, driving and mowing for a lot less than what I originally thought it was going to take. So a lot really, really nice. I'm going to show y'all underneath the machine, tell you, excuse me, about the pin that we're missing here, or that was missing, broken off, sheared, whatever, and then what I did to at least put it on there temporarily. It's not the proper fix, but it is going to be a fix that hopefully will work for a good little while. We'll drive it again, and then we'll probably order some parts here and hopefully get this deck back going. But just wanted to address, I figured it out. So a lot of this video is just troubleshooting, me feeling around with this machine. Hopefully y'all have enjoyed it so far. So y'all take a journey with me underneath here. And so what I noticed, and I did some research on forums last night, that is a teaser spring that's broken. That's not really that big of a deal. The bigger deal was whenever I released the clutch, I noticed that the clutch was marrying to the shaft and the shaft was spinning, and it didn't really register to me that much that it's probably what Dr. Falcon was talking about, Dr. Falcon. And you see that? So let's see, right there, I've already repaired it. That is a bolt and a nut that I put in where there was nothing. So this front pin was in, this back pin ceased to exist. So what it was doing was, it was enough friction on the clutch to move the shaft back or forward, whichever way, to start the movement process. But then when you let off the clutch all the way, it took the, I guess, the friction off of the shaft enough, or moved the shaft back to where it was supposed to where it wouldn't drive. So that was the fix. A bolt and a nut. Of course, you could put a pin in there. $0 to fix this, which is awesome. So, I've already taken it for a test drive around, but I do want to show y'all. I'm going to unfill or do that, and we need to fix that bowl gasket leak. That's the only other minor thing that needs to be done besides fixing the PTO clutch, at least I hope. So let's see, make sure we're in neutral. I don't think this thing really doesn't require choking a lot of times. It will now, of course. Starts right up. First is down to the left, the release, it grabs, and it drives. And remember, I was having to hold my foot on the pedal in order for it to work earlier. Second. Oh yeah. And remember, third didn't work at all earlier, right? Third. If I get it in gear. There we go. Now we're cruising. Oh, that's so much better. Of course, you mash on the brake, it stops. Put it in gear, it goes. So I'll take this back down into the garage. We'll wait on some PTO parts to come in. If I don't, go ahead and see if I can fix the carburetor on it. And then, oh, by the way, we'll show reverse here. If I can get it into reverse. There we go. And then, we'll go forth and hopefully finish this thing up. So I wanted to show you what it looks like with the piece back on it. It is only 4 items to take off here. 4 clips anyways. It's these 2 in the front. There's a washer on the inside and the outside of each of these. This pin slides in and out. You can just turn the wheel in order to get that out. Now the 2 rear pins are attached up here by a little pivot point to the main lift bar, I suppose, or the main bar that holds the deck on. Right here on this side, and then on the other side the same deal. Now in terms of the deck, I'll move over here, show you all that. It looks like we just have 2 mounts in the front that will attach right here, which you'll be able to see better once we get it down. Once I slide the deck under and then put the deck lever down some. And then in the back as well. So in the back we've got those 2 points, and those 2 points are going to be, I think they're going to be right there. I do have another hole right here, so it's one of those 2 holes. And then I got to figure out how to get the belt on. I don't see anything tension-wise for the primary deck belt. The only thing I can see potentially are, let's see. Oh, so your tension spring is right there for your primary deck belt, if you see that. So you'll, I guess, tighten it up whenever you get it on and then loosen it up with this bolt. So I'm going to go ahead and do all of that, and then we're going to see if this mower deck will work for us. And if that's the case, then we only have, what we have? The clutch to do, and just to figure out how we can fix that fuel leak around the carb. Alright, I just wanted to show you the unique underneath this deck. With these blades are so small, and this is just one big blade right here. And so you can see it spins. It just feels like it takes a lot of effort to get it to spin, but it could just be like, I don't hear any pulleys or anything, but again, you don't ever know how long it's been since a mower deck has been turned. So everything moves freely. It's just got some resistance on it, and it doesn't sound bad. But I just wanted to show you all this unique setup before I put it on. And next, I'll go ahead and put it on, show you how I put it on, and we'll test it out. And maybe, just maybe, we'll have a running, halfway driving, and cutting machine. So before we try it out, I wanted to show you what I did to get this on the best. I did the front mounts first and kind of slid them on. Didn't have to take anything off in order to do that. And then, just with a combination of going back and forth with raising and lowering the deck and whatnot, I got the back mounts on as well. The front ones were definitely the hardest to get of the 2. I think the mounts are a little bit worn out. I don't see really any adjustment besides on the front here on these, and on the side, if you can see, the left raises up a lot quicker than the right. So I got something going on there with the mounts. I think this one right here is a little bit worn, and it's not allowing it to raise up as quickly because of that, unfortunately. But all things considered, it is on. The like I said, the deck belt, the tension of that is right here with that nut. You just loosen that nut until you can get the belt on. This is the PTO pulley. It slides over the mule pulleys right there and then goes back to the main drive pulley on the deck. The other thing you also have to do is take this nut off here, or loosen this nut, and then loosen this so that you can get the belt over the PTO engagement clutch. So your PTO, you pull that back to turn it on. What that does is it engages this clutch in here, and the clutch should start turning, and the belt should engage. And then to turn it off, you pull it off. So you just have to adjust it so that whenever it's in, it engages. Whenever it's off, it's disengaged. And you can see that I've got that. At least I think that's where I've got it at. So I have no clue what's going to happen here. But I'm going to crank this thing up, and we're going to pull it out, and I'm going to pull the blade lever and see if this blade or this deck actually works. Like I said, some of the pulleys are tight, but if we can get this thing to engage and start going and getting some of that grease flowing through there, especially if it hasn't gone through that grease in a while, then that'll be really good for us. trying to engage. Let's see. Darn. So I think this clutch is stuck. I think it's stuck, unfortunately. And man, I was hoping that that was not the case, but it kind of looks like it is. Or maybe I have it backwards. It's possible I have it backwards. So maybe I have to tighten it a little bit more, and then it disengages. I'm not, like I said, I'm not fully sure. I thought that that would be engagement, but that may be allowing the spring to disengage on it. Let's see. No. Darn. That's too bad. I was hoping that this would work. But what it's doing is it's just I think the PTO is stuck. So let's see. Yeah. Because it's going to try and start, but it can't start with the blades on. And this, like I said, this clutch is just just stuck in there. I think it's supposed to pull out, and it's not doing that. So there's another issue that we can potentially try to resolve here. I don't know if we're going to be able to. Like I said, we can certainly try. I do know that these are like $300 or something along those lines. So I don't know if I'm going to go to the extent of putting one of these on here, but we'll see. I do want to get it running and driving though. I just have to think on it, to be honest with you, because you know, is it worth it for me to flip and put all this money into? And like I said, I'm not completely sure that it is yet. So I'm going to brainstorm on that, and I'll get right back to y'all. Okay guys, what I have determined is this PTO clutch is bad for many reasons. One of them is, looking online and stuff, there's supposed to be 3 screws in here for this clutch. There's only 1. And so also, if you look, I'm missing pieces from the actual clutch itself. I don't know if it's where I tried to engage it and then it just broke off or something along those lines, because like I said, who knows how long it has been. I do know that the deck was turning whenever the PTO was locked in, so if I put a clutch on it, which is, if I buy the whole remand assembly, is $300, so I don't know if that's going to be on the docket. Or if it's running and driving good and I feel like I can make the money, I might do it. I don't think I am, though. What I am going to do, though, is get this deck, this clutch spring fixed. and just so that I can get this clutch working and get this thing driving like it is supposed to. That's the main thing I'm gonna do. If it's running and driving good, then I may spring it just to do it and just have a complete machine for whoever wants it. But like I said, I don't think I'll make money back. I think that it may be like $700-800 if I can get everything but the deck fixed on it. If I get the deck fixed on it, it's probably $1,000 and put a $300 clutch in it. I don't think that's going to happen. So what I've got to do to take this off, I had to read some tutorials. I've already taken off like the, I guess this will be the clutch spring and the guide here that pushes the clutch in. So I've taken those off. What I've got to do now is take these 1/8" Allens off right here, and hopefully this thing will just slide on out. I'm hoping, because there is a bearing in here, so I'm hoping that it just slides out, and I'll let y'all know if it does here in a second. So I took those 3 1/8" Allens off. There's also a little clip here that you take off, and all I did was tap it with a 5/8 screwdriver, or not a 5/8 screwdriver, but a flathead screwdriver, and that got it to come loose. And now I'm in the process of trying to work the actual clutch off. I don't know how successful I'm going to be with this portion of it, but the fact that it's moving is good. So I have, let's see, I don't know if a pry bar is going to help me here, or if I just need to tap it over here and try and knock it off, or what, but we're going to try. It does seem to be doing something, doesn't it? There we are. And there's all the junk that has come out. So, alright, so there's the broken PTO magnet. And then what we have now is the whole clutch assembly off here of the front. And we'll see if I can loosen this up enough so that I can get the clutch completely off here. So there we are. So and now it's completely off. And as you can see, we're supposed to have 3 of these fingers, teeth, whatever you want to call them, in this clutch. I only have 1. I can do some research to see if I can find a couple of others. I'm not fully sure. But the good news is the bearing and everything is in good shape. So, like, I really see there's another nut. So somebody had been in this anyways. So there won't gonna be no fixing this on my own, unfortunately. Alright, so there's like all the residue and stuff. The carnage right there. So, like I said, this wasn't going to be fixed regardless, so that makes me feel better that I did not damage anything myself. Like I said, the bearing is good, so really, if I just bought another PTO clutch, which is $300, it probably would work. Like, everything would probably work like it's supposed to. Literally slide it on, throw the Allen keys in, and you're done, or I'd be done. So that is an option. You know, like, do I go that route? Do I put it on or sell it and let the new buyer put it on? I can confirm that it does turn the deck. So see, the thing is, it's like the heart wants to do it, but the wallet knows it doesn't make any sense to, unfortunately. But what I do need to do is get this taken care of with the clutch. So that's going to be number one. I am going to order that first. If we can get this thing to drive, what I might do is list it for what I think it's worth. Try and sell it. If we can't sell it for what, well, we should be able to sell it, because either way it's not really going to make sense for me to put that PTO clutch on, which really stinks because I would love to. But we'll get this clutch on next. I'll go ahead and order it. Again, part number and everything associated with it is going to be in the description below. This will include the clutch as well as the spring, because that's where we're having issues, is the spring not engaging the clutch all the way and causing it to slip and not work properly, or at least I think that's what's happening here. So we'll work on that and hopefully have this thing fixed after we do that. So the parts and everything came back in. Let me do my best to show you what I had to do in order to get this to work assembly wise. What I did, I started off with this little retaining clip right here that actually engages and disengages the springs. I put that in first and then kind of laid this on top of it. Did my best to put the 3 fingers in right here. This PTO clutch is not in the best shape, but it should work. Then what I did, there's springs that go through these bolts and nuts here. So before I put this back cover plate on, I put the actual clutch assembly itself on right here. And then it's a process of just screwing everything down. And then what happens is whenever you push on, whenever it pushes down right here, which you'll see, it disengages the clutch. So I'll show you that in action when we get it onto the machine. I'm glad that this is working like it's supposed to now. When you get it back onto the machine, so you got to get it over the bearing and everything like that. I was able to get it out with having to extend the arm of the engagement cable, which is just simply twisting it to get it back on. So we'll put this back on. When we get it back on, you have these screws here that help retain the clutch onto the bearing so that it doesn't fall off. And so it's a matter of just me finessing everything back down into here and popping it back on that bearing. Just make sure everything is nice and clean and smooth and even when you do that. Hopefully that shows you an idea of how this is supposed to go. You can see those springs. I did not have them springs, so I had to order the springs and the new, I guess you could call it the friction disc, right? So that together was about $60 worth of parts, and hopefully this is what's going to fix our deck engagement issue. The only thing that's unfortunate that I don't have, I think they're called anti-rattle clips. I do not have the anti-rattle clips that go into this, so it may rattle a little bit and make a little noise, but I don't think it's going to break per se. I'm going to slide this back on and I'll show y'all what it looks like once I get everything back on, and then after that we will slide the belt back on and maybe, just maybe, we'll have a working mower deck again. So here it is on the machine. You have to kind of play with these screws a little bit to tighten them to whatever they need to be to, so that you get, whenever you have the PTO on, which is the lever pushed forward, everything turns like it's supposed to, everything's locked in. And then when you turn the PTO off, maybe you can see this here, that you'll see the spring, whoops, push in, so that it'll push the springs in, just like that. And then what happens, let me get around here, is, you see it's just spinning around freely now, which is what it's supposed to do. So the engine will run without the PTO running. So what I've got to do next, I've just got to put them little Allen screws back in just so that it holds this PTO pulley on the bearing, and then we'll test out the PTO theory, make sure everything works, put the belt on, and make sure the deck turns. And if that works, then that's really, really good for this machine. So I've done a little bit of adjusting and things along those lines with these bolts right here, these screws. And what I have done, let's see, so this is blades on, right? So blades on, we got it locked in. Blades off. It is completely loose, so that is awesome. One thing I am going to show y'all, let's see, let's crank it up. Blades are off. It's really close, but good, all things considered, I think. Yeah, like I said, pretty good. And I think we're at a good point where we can test this out with the deck belt on. So I'm going to go ahead and get that deck belt back on, see if we can actually get this machine to work and have the deck turn as well. We saw that it turned, or at least I think y'all did, when I tried this before I knew what all was going on with this PTO clutch. We tried it, and it would turn over, the deck would turn, but it was either all or nothing. So like, it's not like there was a PTO clutch in it. I'm gonna see if this, see if we can get this to work. Get that deck belt back on the machine here, and start her up. All right, I put the belt back on. I think I've shown you all that already. It goes around the adjusters right there on the bottom. You have to loosen that up, and then it goes around the, I guess you call it the mule pulleys or whatever, to the main part of the mower deck. And you are just slide it all back on the pulleys, tighten that tensioner back up to however it feels tight on the belt there, and should be good to go. So I'm going to pull this out, and we'll crank it up, see if the blades actually work on it. Oh, I gotta twist everything back in. Hold on a second. Double check. So that's on. And then this is off. Okay. Gas. Got a carb leak to fix still, but if this works, this can be awesome. Obviously, I got to throttle it up. I just want to get it out here just in case something crazy goes on. Neutral. I just don't want to burn up a clutch. That's my worry. think we're a little too tight still. Or a little too loose on the clutch. So let me see. Let me see here. Let's see if it'll tighten now. Now it's too tight. Oh, you can smoke a clutch like that, that's for sure. Woo! So, man, it's I think the deck's just a little too tight for it. I want to run it for a little bit, but I also don't want to burn up a clutch, so it's like, I don't know if y'all saw some sparks go out there, but I saw something just cut loose on the deck and it started speeding up. So I don't know if everything's loosening up or something. If I should honestly just continue to send it and see what happens, I don't know. The clutch is obviously not happy, but so cool. I mean, the thing runs like a champ too. I just gotta get a little carb work done on it because it is leaking a little bit around the mold. But that's it. So, all things considered, let's see if it'll. Now we're in business. That deck has freed itself up from sitting for so long. That's awesome. That in itself adds $60 to the value of the mower. With it being this old school machine here. The fact that all that works now, it's beautiful. Alright, let me park this thing back. I'll clean up some tools. See if we can get this carb. So it is possible that I may have gotten lucky and that the carb bowl is just the nut, or the carb bowl nut, whatever you want to call it, was loose. I took a 13 millimeter, which would have been a ½ inch, but they're kind of one and the same, and took it and turned it, and it moved about a ½ a turn. And a lot of times that's all it needs to prevent it from leaking. So I'm gonna put some car spray on it. I'm gonna monitor it for a little while. Really easy to get this off though. It was just a couple of screws after you took off the air cleaner wing nut. So I'm gonna monitor this for a few minutes, make sure it's not gonna leak anymore. And if it's good, what I'll do, guys, is it's raining today. It's February. I don't have any grass to mow is the problem. I may could find a patch just to go to town on it. Those spindles though, man, that clutch was fighting. That clutch was fighting. And we got them spindles free, and this thing's off to the races now. I did have to do a little bit of a clutch adjustment again, because some of the, I don't want any of the fingers to fall off here. So I don't want any of these fingers to fall off. And some of them were kind of getting a little loose. So I tried to get them as uniform as possible so that it wouldn't engage the clutch with the blades off and then engage it with the blades on. So we're at that point. Everything's nice and greased up too. This machine was taken very good care of. So I've got the grill to get back on, and again, somebody may take this and do a full restoration on it. I'm not. I love the patina on it. It's still a usable machine, and it's going to be a nice little workhorse for somebody, or for somebody who loves these things, just add it to their collection, because there's not a ton of these out there anymore, and this one's in really, really good shape. So I'm going to get the grill and everything on it. I'll give you all a final look here whenever we finish up with it. But as far as I know, as long as this carb bowl holds and doesn't leak out anything, which I've got the gas open, and it's not leaking out so far after I tighten that bowl nut, this machine is done. And I can't believe it. Really cool, guys. So like I said, it is February, but I figured y'all wanted to see this thing in action. So I'm at least gonna kick up some sticks or something. not, I mean, this thing ain't perfect, but I have done the principle, getting it running, getting it driving, and getting it mowing. Somebody who buys this is not going to expect a perfect thing. After all, it is, how old is it now? 60 years old? Almost 70? No. 22, 30, 40, 50, so a little over 60 years old now. And still kicking along. I mean, it's crazy because you just flip the switch, just kicks right over. So this thing's just been taken really, really good care of, and I'm sure it's going to go to a good home. The one thing that I did not fix, mostly because it's going to be such a pain and it doesn't really affect drivability, was that teaser spring in there. I'll do my best to show you all of the options of like buying a whole new PTO clutch, which is around $300, the springs and the actual clutch itself that I bought, which is around $60, and that got the blades back going again. And y'all saw it, I think it shredded one of the pine limbs over there to a crisp. So this is more of a brush mower anyways. This is more of like you want to cut it high, and you want to cut it at least a couple inch, or probably 3 inches or so, even at the lowest. Deck height adjusters are a little worn, so it is a little bit more cockeyed on the left side than it is the right side. Right side's a lot higher than the left side, or vice versa. But man, oh man, how cool is this, y'all? This is going to be a really nice machine for somebody, and really happy to share this with y'all as well, because I know that these don't come about very much anymore. Who knows if I'll ever see another one like this again. So there it is, guys, one last time. The International Harvester Cub Cadet 70, sometime from the early 60s, early and mid 60s, has turned out much better than I thought. I was not thinking that I was going to be as in the good as I am now. I knew that the way that it sat, it was worth at least what I had given in trade value for that Craftsman garden tractor. But now that I've got it running again, driving again, we just had to fix that pin and the shaft. It wasn't any clutch or anything like that. And then finally just getting that PTO right, and getting that deck freed up from where it hasn't turned for a really, really long time, where that deck and the clutch were fighting each other there for a little bit. But once everything got nice and heated up and greased up in there, everything's working great. So I don't really even know what these things are worth. What I'm probably going to do is list it for, I've seen non-running ones without the deck for like $800. I just don't know the market around here. I've got to do, like I said, a little bit of research. I see the ones that are a little bit higher up, like the 100 series and stuff, sell for over $1,000. I'm thinking that this one's probably going to fetch right around $900 or so, but I have to find the right buyer for it. So I'm sure there's people out there still, but again, you got to find the right person for it. So we'll see. Y'all let me know what y'all think on this. Not a lot out here. This one's in great shape. It's got really good patina, and I think it's going to be really good for somebody who is looking for something like this, like if their dad had it, or if they had one when they were young, or something along those lines. So I just really enjoyed having this in the shop. Kind of fun to work on, because it's a little bit different than a lot of the stuff that I do work on a daily and weekly basis. And somebody really appreciated this machine before I got it, and somebody is really going to appreciate this machine to whoever I sell it to. And so it's just one of those that's going to live on, hopefully, for a good little while. And hopefully it'll stay running and cutting and driving for a good little while too. Love to keep it, don't have the space, and again, it's just something else in the way for me, truthfully. I like to see them, fix them, let them pass on through, and just see the videos and just watch them back and just see what has come into the shop over the course of time, and the fun things that I get to be a little bit of a piece of in the buying and selling process. So thanks again for watching this video. I really hope y'all enjoyed this. And any comments, anything, stories about these machines that you may have, feel free to put them in the comments section. I always love to see that stuff too. Thanks again for watching, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. Take care.